edit it later also. Welcome everyone for joining Profiling Leaders again. Today we have Jono Effendy, who is founder and managing director of PasarTrainer, one of our collaborating partners. Welcome, Pak Jono.
Thank you, Pak Demi.
Thank you for making time for this, because it's a little bit different than normally. And normally it's about what you do and what the company does, and this time it's about you as a leader. So that is very interesting for the watchers, I think. It will also be on YouTube at our partners in Asia, one of my own companies where I am Chief Human Capital Development for the time being. And I'm going to have a short interview with you about you and your view on leadership. And then you made a personality profile assessment. And then Mr. Max, the director of SDA Indonesia, will talk about a little bit with that. It will not be everything in the document because that's very confidential for us. So we don't tell the dirty stuff, we only tell the cool stuff. So welcome. So Pak Jono, my first question is very simple.
Right.
Can you explain who you are, what you did, how you became who you are now?
Okay. Wow, that's tough questions actually, because I have to look back my history from starting my early career and until now. So in terms of education background, I'm starting my school in accounting subject. So I finished my bachelor in accounting, and then I continued later on in the finance for the master degrees. And like most of accountants, they trying to pursue the career in the accounting firms. So I started my career actually during the school. I also working as a accountant. So I already working since I'm 19. So actually when I do my bachelor degree, I also work as well. So at that time, struggling between works and school, because I have to feed my own school fees. That I have to fulfill what we call it the school fees. Then after I finished my bachelor, then I moved to the accounting firms. I think this accounting firm built a lot of what we call it what we call it perseverance for what I'm now, because when I work with the company names Arthur Andersen at that time, is a local names SGV, is one of the big 5 accounting firms. So the cultures in that firm is very nagging culture. And also, it's also working overtime is something is a normal situation. Sometimes you don't worry about the Saturday and Sunday, because Saturday and Sunday also a working day, and you work like up to 3 o'clock in the morning straight, like for 1 month during the deadline periods of the accounting firm, because they have a seasonality in terms of the workload. So I grew in some of accounting firms with those demanding time schedule deadlines. I think that make me become a stronger person in terms of how we want to survive and fulfill our job or our objective. So after that, then when I moved to other company, so it's easier for me to adapt. But there is one, I think, if you see on the result of my DISC, so the impact of those tough periods is I don't want other people to experience like me. Although I know I become a stronger leader or a person because of that tough situations. But I don't want to pursue in that way. So I would like people want to enjoy their job. They doing their job because they love their job. They're working in the very what we call it, collaborative and very nice environment. So the energy for them to do their job is not coming from outside rather than from the inside of the people. So I think that's if I try to correlate why I use this type of leadership instead of nagging a person.
Okay, very honest answer. Also good.
Right.
So, and how about your private? Are you married? Do you have children?
Yes, I'm married. I have 3 children, 2 girls and 1 boy. 1 is teenager, 2 is growing from child to teenager. So I have 3 children. That makes me busy, makes my life busy already during the weekend.
Is it hard to balance family and work? Because I know you're a really busy man.
Yeah, of course. Sometimes I got complaints from my children, my daughter, my son. Where's the time for us? They say, because sometimes even in the weekend I'm working. But if I don't have something urgent to finish, then I don't want to work during the weekend. I want to spend my time with my family. And sometimes I push myself to go do some vacations, near here, or go to Bali. Just want be together with my family. So
Quality time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Bonding
very
time.
important. Very important.
Right,
And,
right.
and if we talk about the subject we have today and separate from work, how would you describe your own behavior in general, in private, actually? Who are you?
It's difficult to judge ourselves, right?
No, you're too humble to do that. It's something else.
But as far as I know, people know me as a warm person, warm, and is easy, easy to talk with, easy to interact with, easy to make friends with others. So that's what I know from the people around me.
And does that behavior, when you go to work, is it behavior different?
I think I'll try to be myself. So I don't want to be a different person than what I am. So that's also influenced the leadership of myself, because of my character is like that. So usually in the day-to-day work, I also quite accommodative. Although sometimes I also have to be what we call it quite strict in terms of target sometimes, because this is about the common objective or common goal that we have to pursue. Then I need to, everybody take a look their side and then see what is the common objective, not only them but also me. Yeah. So the strictness to the target is not necessarily make me, have to very hard to them, but I'll try to talk to them. What is the impact if they don't meet their target? So it's not only impacting them, but also impacting others. So that's why how I trying to explain to people when it comes to the works.
Okay, and imagine that because you said you have some hard times before. So imagine that you are under severe pressure, and then I mean real pressure, right? So imagine that now you're in the situation that you have to do something with PasarTrainer, and if you don't do it, tomorrow you'll be bankrupt. How would that influence your behavior?
Actually, I already experienced it for years.
Okay.
So not only with PasarTrainer, of course, if you know this is a startup, it's not easy to running a startup.
Agreed.
Especially when it is on the what we call it development stage. You need a lot of investment, right? So when you need a lot of investment while your sales is not, is not stable yet, then you have to put or struggling some effort how to manage this income and then the investment and then the operational expenses that we have to spend. So it's not an easy time also, you know. And then we threw out all these pandemic situations, and sometimes the sales is there, sometimes they are busy with the how to managing the pandemic. So of course that impacted to our sales as well. So I think we trying very hard to managing the expectation of our partners, our trainers. We are trying to aggressively and also influentially what we call it, trying to convince our clients, and also how to manage this operationally efficient. So actually, we are struggling also, of course, in the startup. And in the past, in my previous experience, I even have a longer years in managing these hard situations. I have a partners, and also of course we working quite hard, but it's different like startup. This company is quite mature. When it is mature, the operating cost becomes quite high.
Yeah.
So if the sales is not scaling up, then then it makes you have to struggle every year. So for me, this is not something new. I'll try to focus. The problem is on the company, not on me, right? So I have to. How come if I'm panicking, I can handle this thing? So I'll try to handle those things. I need to be stable and calm first before I can manage the situation.
Otherwise, worrying and stressing doesn't contribute to the solution, right?
Right. I agree. I have that belief.
Okay, I totally agree on that one.
Right.
So I see you also get a little bit motivated of that. So by talking about how you're handling everything. So
right.
Let me ask that then directly. What motivates you to work harder?
For me?
Yeah.
What motivates me to work harder if my work can influence a lot of people? If I can if my work can be give for a lot of people, of course, in a positive way, how our trainer can get income, how our people can, learn and then also have their career and develop, and also how my clients have a very good or quality educations for their people. That's the most that make me happy.
Okay, and of course, the other side, what demotivates you? When do you drop it?
What demotivate me? What demotivate me if I work with somebody that have a toxic attitude, I think.
Okay.
Like, it's a selfish person, like, somebody that always see a lot of things in negative ways, with the trying have a effort in trying or do it first. Somebody that you're trying to demotivate you. So I need, because for me sometimes I need an energy also. That energy came from the happiness of others and also the support of others.
Okay, very clear answer, and very honest also. Good.
Right.
And of course, what motivates you, but also what would be the things that you are good at? What are your strengths? What makes you a successful man, according to you? If you talk about
me,
if we talk about behavior, right? So character.
Yeah. I think one is luck. I have a lot of luck in my life.
Okay.
I don't know, somehow, it's like a lot of gift from the universe when I do things, a lot of help, which is, I don't even know how this is coming in, So I feel grateful in life because a lot of what we call it, blessed that I get in life. I think that's one of the success that coming to me. So it's just blessed. The second, I think, work hard. I'm a work hard person, and if you know, like in this office, I coming earlier. I'm working. You know, I work. You know, and then go home later. So it's not because of I like to work, but there's a lot of work to do. Then I have to finish. Then yeah, sometimes it's not good also because you not have a balance of life sometimes, right? But when the time push you to do that, then I have to do that. That's my principle. So first thing first, what is important, then I first thing first, I do the important.
Okay, so you're very lucky, and you're persuasive. If things have to be done,
and
you make it happen.
and also I think it's a relationship. I good in making relationship to others. I think I have some influencer capabilities. So I can talk with people, trying to understand people, and also convince and honestly convince them what is in my objective and our common objective. I think that's the support my success.
Yeah, sounds about you. I know you're a little bit longer than today. So, can you also tell me next your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are you really bad at?
My weaknesses is, sometimes I'm not easy to, give in works, give us sanctions or talking something that discourage people. Sometimes my friends say, if you are a leader, you have to strict, you have to, sometimes you have to scold your subordinates, so make them, have a spirit. I have a limited capabilities in this, to be honest. Very rare I, scolded people and then talk very hard to people. But when it is something wrong, I just tell them what is wrong. I don't raise my voice. Not many times I raise my voice, but I just inform them this is the situation. If not, then we cannot go along, or we cannot,
And what if these people become emotional when you punish them?
Sorry.
What if these people get emotional when you punish them?
I think it's fine with them if they're emotional. That's their right.
Okay.
So I'm not in their shoes. I don't know what the way of thinking of them. I respect whatever the reactions of them. So I think people is different. We cannot judging people from our mindset because we are not in their shoes. I don't know what life they have go through it. So I think it might different with mine. So I just respect if they have anything, but I'm trying to to communicate if they have something uncomfortable that they want to say. I'm trying to listen first.
But what about imagine that you have to bring the bad message, like you have to say something, sorry, from today on you're fired, and then these people started crying in front of you. What would you feel then?
I feel empathy to her or his. Yeah. I feel empathy, but I cannot change the decision.
Okay, that's good. So you keep it factional, rational.
Yeah. So in terms of emotional, I want to emotional, and also in terms of in terms of relationship, I don't want to be this personal because in works we have some, like I said before, we have a common objective.
Yeah.
We have our responsibility. Of course, I have some empathy and also to the situations, but sometimes we have to when we have to be decisive, then we need to decisive.
Yeah, so when you have decided, then that's your opinion and it stays there, no matter what. And that's not a bad thing, by the way, but just wanted to know that. Okay. And imagine that you already told it a little bit in the beginning in your introduction. Can you describe how you behave related to other people. So meaning when you're with people, who are you?
Sorry, I don't get the message.
Can you describe your behavior when you are with other people?
Okay, my behavior.
Yeah, your behavior.
It's just a normal people.
What is normal?
Normal is it's yeah.
I was last weekend at a metal concert, and then everybody go crazy like this, and that's normal for them. So that's why what's normal?
So normal is very difficult to define, yeah.
Okay.
So it's like, yeah, I'll try to make friends to anybody surround me. Sometimes I try not to see people on who they are, on what they are. Even like some people in the office, like office boy, anybody, I'll try to talk with them, ask them how's your works. Oh, do you have any difficulties here? Some small things like that. So in any people that I meet, I try to communicate with them. Some security guards, sometimes with conglomerates. So it's for me, so
you try to take care of everyone, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. And you probably also do that in private. That's already what you explained before, right? You try to make everybody satisfied with everything and try to keep the peace. Peacekeeper.
Try to make everybody happy.
Most important is that you're happy yourself also. Right?
Yeah. Because I'm happy to do that.
So, as a leader, what is important in behavior for a leader, according to you, separate from yourself?
Okay, a leader is somebody who, of course, a leader is somebody who leads anything in their family, in their company, in any organization that they have. Leader is somebody who leads. And when you need to lead, you need to showing by what we call it, not only by word, but you need to show it by your action. I more appreciate people that not only talking but also do action, do what they are talking. Sometimes I also is not for me, sometimes I'm not easily to what we call it. It's not easy to accept other people's opinion. If I have some belief system, if it is different with my belief system, then I'll try to get first and then digging more deep about other people's opinions. And if they can dig and prove and show me that this is right, then I can accept. So it's not easy for me to accept things, but when it can be explainable, I can accept, and then even I adopt as some of my belief system.
And you already explained this also in the beginning. But the next question would be: can you describe which leadership skills are important when you are managing your team? Right. So you explained that you give everybody the room to become themselves because everybody is unique, right? And you want to give them the space in that. But what if someone is crass? What if someone is stubborn? What would you do?
Yeah, I have an experience also to meet someone stubborn. Yeah. So if someone stubborn is a bit difficult to deal with, and it takes a longer time, and also it takes a deep conversations. Of course, in my career life, I meet some of them, and then some of my subordinates is very stubborn, and some of people in the organization didn't like him. So I'll try to get out with him, just have lunch and then talk and then discuss. I'll try to understand what is the root of this stubbornness. And of course, it's not solving the stubbornness because it's difficult to change people.
Sometimes stubborn people are the game changers.
Yeah, right. Therefore, sometimes we don't see the stubbornness, but sometimes they are very productive.
Yeah.
They are nagging, and then they can give something valuable. So for me, people can have their own what we call it, can have their own attitude, as long as for the organization you contribute, you valuable, and of course, if it can be collaborate, is perfect. So you can be stubborn as a person, but in terms of teamwork, you need also to listen others. If cannot, then I not force, or I not blame, or I not intimidating him in front of other. Most of the time when I deal with this kind of person, I do it a one-on-one usually.
Okay. Very smart.
Yeah.
Especially when it turns into a fight.
Right. A lot of argue using usually with this kind of person, but actually they smart, and sometimes they bring a lot of values. Okay,
true.
For my
So can you, because you are very rational, that's what you already said you think is so. A leader makes decision, right? So
yeah.
What is your decision making style? How do you make decision, based on what?
I make decision based on input from the subordinate. Sometimes I have an idea, but I try to communicate this idea to others. I'm very rare to have a decision because of this is what I want, and then like or dislike, you have to do this. I think it's quite rare. I made that kind of decision. So most of my decisions are consultative first with teams. Sometimes I trying to get input from them, and if of course nobody will not be 100%. Not everybody happy. Yeah. So if I took the majority people agree, I leave the minority. So then we do it.
So actually, what you're saying is you're not making decisions alone. You try to become part of the team, and in a democratic way, you make the decisions.
Yes, mostly like that. Then.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So I have my own theory about that. I like it, by the way. Okay, so I see that there's also a lot of Pasar people here. I see. So let me ask me someone. Maya, can you hear me? Maya?
Mai?
Go slowly. Suddenly people got kicked off the internet.
Where is Maya?
Yeah, maybe too many users on one account. Maya, can you hear me?
Hi, Mr. Dami.
Hi, Maya. Long time no see here.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a question for you. It's a little bit sensitive, but how do you describe Mr. Pak Jono as leader for yourself?
For me, Pak Jono, one of the best leader, boss, and father for me.
Oh, can you explain that?
Because he is a kind person and a great leader for me. I learned a lot from him.
And what did you learn?
Leadership. He is kind of heart, and yeah, he is the best boss for me.
So it's just fun working there at PasarTrainer.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Next month I raise Maya salary then.
Thank you, Pak Jono.
Thank you very much, Maya. I'm going to ask someone. I'm going to ask someone else too. Lula, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I'm going to put you in the spotlight also. To put your camera on, please.
Okay.
If you don't mind. So for you, the same question.
Yeah.
How would you describe Pak Jono as your leader?
So for me, Pak Jono is leader who can hear.
Who can hear?
So
Hear or
yeah,
understand? Hearing or understanding?
Hear and understand. Listen. I mean,
Okay, very good.
He'll listen to everything that we like, our idea or like our pain in work. He listen. So it's, for me, it's quite rare to find a leader who can listen. Actually, almost all the leader that I have worked before,
Mhm.
it's like they seems like the most smart person, so they don't listen to any of their employee. But I found this Pak Jono, and I found a new like leadership style, and then I know that he can listen well and then understand us, their employee.
Okay, sounds very good. Thank you very much, Lula. Talk to you
Thank you.
soon. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Another raising salary.
I will not ask the rest, yeah, because you cost you a lot of money, Jono.
No.
I stop with this. Thank you, Lula. I will go
Thank
to Pak Jono. So how does it make you feel, Pak Jono, when you hear that?
Yeah,
I saw-
I feel glad. I feel glad if people are happy working with me. I
Mhm.
think that's also give me a lot of energy when I see people are happy working together, because I believe that when people are happy, they can show up the best that they can do. So motivation can come from fear, but also it also can come from happiness and also a teamwork that can create a spirit to work better, I think.
I like your leadership style. It's a lot like mine in the past. And now I work mostly alone, so I lead myself. So I try to be happy alone, but with more people, it's always more fun, right? Okay. Thank you for this short interview, Mr. Max. Are you here?
Still here.
Still
Yeah.
here.
All
Hi,
the time. Yeah. Catching up on some other work.
That must be good then. So, Pak Jono, you made a personality profile assessment from
Right.
Success Dynamic Alliance. Meet Mr. Max, Director Indonesia of SDA.
Hi, Max.
And he will consult
Jono.
with you the profile. So I leave it up to you guys. I'm going to jump out. I'm going to shut up for a change.
Thank you, Pak Demi.
Okay.
Thanks
Thank
a
you,
lot.
Danny. Speak to you in a bit.
Okay.
Firstly, nice to meet you, Jono.
Nice to meet you.
You're a lovely guy. Can I have a pay rise?
Thank you.
Very interesting that you're an accountant since 19. I started a year before you, I guess.
Yeah.
18 was when I started my accountancy, and
Really?
yeah. So when you were talking about filing periods and deadlines,
Right.
working all hours of the night and weekend, I was thinking back to those days and just being grateful I don't do that anymore.
All right. Me also. I don't have a dream in that profession because of that situation, and the types of work is not me. So then I move.
Yeah. Yeah. So sorry. What is the company now? It's a training company, correct?
It's a training company. It's a marketplace for training, actually.
Okay. Excellent. This is probably how you met Danny then, I'm guessing.
Yes, right. They be one
Okay.
of our preferred trainer.
Yeah. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. So it was very, very interesting receiving your PPR. Danny gave it to me earlier today. Just been taking a look at it while you guys have been talking. Some particularly interesting things I do see that I'd like to touch on. But firstly, I believe in you've also mentioned that your behaviour is being quite modified during this pressure from the COVID period, you feel, right?
Right.
There's one thing in particular I'm seeing stand out, but from listening to you talk, I don't think is part of your natural behavior. I think typically at work right now, do you have a copy of the PPR in front of you?
Sorry?
Do you have a copy of the personality profile report?
I have it.
Okay, so yeah, excellent. So if you just turn to the chart on page 2.
Sure.
Just what we're going to pay attention to briefly is the C on each of the 3 charts. And if you notice on the second chart, the C comes below the median line, below the middle of the charts.
Yeah.
It just indicates that at work at the moment, you're perhaps paying a little bit less attention to the rules than you typically would. And that's why just, from experience, from hearing you talk, I think I understand why. Also, the charts are indicating that you have a very high degree of work-related stress at the moment. It's within your stress limits. It's not over the top, but a higher degree of work-related stress. So, did you read that in the end of the report as well?
Yeah,
the very last thing is your stress management.
Yeah.
So that's the very last thing. So I'm just kind of looking at those 2 things in isolation, and believing that to be just perhaps a bit of an anomaly because of your current situation with COVID, etc. That's the thing with the reports, Jono, is you can't just read. You can't just read one part. You have to read the whole thing, and you have to process all of the information at once. Really. One of my favorite things, I just love it when people self-identify as something that stands out in the report. So I'd already read it, but you were talking about your management technique, or how you like to be the boss, and how you like to involve everyone around you and get a consensus opinion. And that's almost exactly what it says, is that you prefer to be supporting the front line. So you like to lead, and you feel that you're important and needed to be part of the team, which clearly you do from how your staff were reacted just now. But you can be very successful managing a team of like-minded experts by persuasion and consensus. So, I mean, you've had a chance to read the report, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
What would you give us? What would be the marks out of 10 for accuracy?
Yeah, I read the report, and I think it's quite most of what's stated in the report is quite is quite represent what I am and the leadership style that I am. So I think it's quite correct in terms of the report writing here to describe my leadership personality, I think.
Yeah, that's good, because typically somebody who's got quite a high S, which you do, would be a little bit more disagreeable. So I'm always prepared for that. Yeah, I mean, in a work environment, do you think it would be powerful or useful to have this kind of information about all of your employees?
Right. Sorry, can you repeat?
I said it in a business situation, do you think it would be useful to have this level of information about your employees, what motivates them, their strengths, their weaknesses, etc.?
Yeah, of course. I think employee engagement and employee happiness, I think that's one of the key success factors of an organization. If I'm not mention this is, I think, the most factor, especially for the types of company like us, that we do a lot of services, not a product. So when we talk about services, we talk about people. So where we talk about people, we talk about employee. So when we talk about employee, we need those employees are working with their heart in giving their best to the clients, to the business, and to the company. So I think it's a very important for me to see them happy and can work together in a very good environment.
Yeah, well, the charts again really do indicate the one of your girls said father figure. And just seeing that your potential work behavior under pressure, which is on the chart still on page 2, just seeing how your steadiness increases all the way up to the highest levels. So under pressure, you remain incredibly stable, which is very impressive. But just that your influencing raises almost to the very top as well. So it just shows how much you'll take care and attention and talk to all your staff and make sure that they feel safe and secure. So that is very indicative of a father-like figure. In fact, typically we call that shape of chart a shepherd's crook, and it's quite well represented within the human resources sector. A lot of HR people will have a very similar shaped chart, but all the way across the board. But it's very interesting how your behavior can change in certain circumstances. But that rough shape is indicated both in your basic behavior and also your behavior under pressure. So again, just interesting to see for somebody like myself. There was one other thing that I noted. You reminded me of a proverb. And it just made sense when I understand that you're in training when you were talking about your leadership style and how you like to show people. And it just reminded me. You had the proverb, "Tell me, I will forget. Show me, and I may not remember. But if you involve me, I will understand." And I think that kind of sums up your leadership style. Would I be right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's one other thing I wanted to touch on before I hand you back to Damien. Well, that would be fun, would be to talk about how to manage you effectively. Are your employees still listening? Yeah, that's the reverse side of the equation. We'll keep that for private. But I did really want to touch on the stress measurement, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
Because we did briefly cover that. What factors have particularly affected you during this this COVID season, which is coming back round again, it seems?
Okay. I think nobody expecting this COVID season. So nobody is predicting this COVID season become very long also. So like us also, when we are preparing this business plan or initiate this business, we don't calculate also the COVID is there. So
how could you?
Nobody, I think.
Yeah.
So we also shocking when we see China get COVID, and then and then usually we do an offline, like in our company right now, we do an offline training mostly before the COVID-19, and then suddenly after this COVID, then nobody want to meet or gather or mobile together. So some clients is already asking, okay, can we do online training? Okay, let's do it. Even though we don't have the capability at that time, what we trying to survive, right? So we learn, we research how to do a good or a proper online training, and buy some gadgets to do online training, and trying to use some of Zoom and other platforms to do this. And of course, at the first time we have some difficulties. Then along the way, we get used to it, and we build our confidence, we build our expertise in this online training. So that's how we trying to survive with the foundation that we trying to give the best to our clients, because they are our boss. If they're not satisfied, then we don't have, we don't have salary, we don't have something paying us. So, but of course, I also understand that our clients also what we call it evolving, changing. They have some difficulties, and training business is not a primary needs for them, for many companies. So training usually either a secondary or a tertiary needs for companies. So when the crisis is coming, if they have to do cut costs on the budget, usually will be one of cost cutting. So in this case, we're trying to talk with our partners, our clients, and how we trying to still serve them, negotiate. Sometimes we negotiate the pricing to accommodate their concerns, and also trying to maybe shorten the timing to get more economical pricings. So a lot of things we do. We're trying to keep delivering the quality. We trying to make a smaller package to make more good pricings, and I think this is part of the response in any of the company when they are facing difficulties. So just like us, when we have some difficulties, we talk together internally and we do what we can do internally to face the situations like COVID-19 pandemic. I think that's how we
you've got this under control, man. I really like on your phone.
You were explaining about starting SDA.
Yes, I was just explaining to Jono how what I took on and started SDA here during the pandemic. So I really understand the struggle that he's been through, possibly more than anybody else, especially when we're trying to introduce a product that not everybody understands.
Right.
During a pandemic.
Right.
And you try to explain it, and they say, yes, I understand, and it really makes sense, and I'd love to use it. I'm not going to pay for it. Because using our tools, much the same as training is getting people working effectively rather than people just blindly working. I do think that often that's that both the HR sector and training is just under-recognized and underserved in Indonesia at the moment. So I'm looking forward to changing that perspective.
The training business, do you mean?
Yeah, just training in general. I think that there could be more of it. Let's put it that way. I think there's a tendency to try and have an effective workplace by just introducing more employees at the same time. You've got 5 people doing a job that often one well-trained person could do for a living salary. So it's just my opinion.
Yeah, I tend to agree, Max, with your opinion. I mean, of course, during this pandemic, we cannot say all is bad. Sometimes we also have some insight that some is also good, So like, actually, sometimes we don't really need an exact office and then meeting in offline. Sometimes we can do it, meeting online, and it is still effective. But of course, there are some issues also. So I think, some people are complaining about too many meetings, and also it's a very difficult to distinguish when is the family time, when is the working time.
Yeah.
During the working hour, and then his or her children is coming in. So it's I think it's a learning phase of learning situations that we need to understand and trying to accommodate that situation. I think somehow in the future the mixing of the what we call it the combination
hybrid working environment is going to continue. Right. I think. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that what you are saying, Max?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say while I was being interrupted. Sorry about that. Look, what I better do, because it's just coming up to 3 o'clock, so I'm going to have to duck out because I do need to return that call. But what I'd like to do, Damien will pass me your number, and let's try and arrange a time just to talk and go through your report properly.
Sure, no problem.
Sure.
More than happy
Okay.
to have that, Max.
Okay, lovely to meet you. Bye for now.
Nice to meet you. Thank you, Max, for your review.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Max. So, Pak Jono, how do you experience that short briefing about your personality?
I think it's a good session for me. Pandemic is sometimes it's not easy to see ourselves, but using this we can see ourselves. Of course, with every style have their own what they call it, strength and weaknesses. So I also understand even with my style, I have some strength and weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
So this kind of session and reviewing the report, so it's like, for me it's like I try to see myself from this SDA, from this the ISG technique, and then trying to see what area is my strength and what area is my weakness, so I can trying to overcome the weakness, to reduce the weakness. Of course, that's part of the leadership progress that I want to have in life. So thank you very much for this review and this session. So
very important. So did you ever do this before? Did you ever did a behavior profiling like this before?
Not yet.
Not yet.
So after I've been asking to fill the questionnaire, and then I'll trying to search in the Google what the kind of this technique. So
okay.
And
did you make the English version or the Bahasa version? Because I know that it's already available in English and Bahasa.
I forget English if I'm not mistaken.
And what do you think of the questionnaire? Can you see that?
Okay. I can be understand, but if there is one or two words I cannot understand, usually I just do quick search to the Google. So what these words means. So I still have, because we need to fill the questions, what we call it, instantly to. Because I understand you want to get the response, the natural response of the object.
Yes,
so,
exactly.
So the natural response come when we don't think too much. It's just a natural response. So I think it's quite effective to see.
Did you expect so many pages after those 5 minutes assessment? The report.
I don't expect. I just do it. And I want to see what is the result, because when I'm honest, then I can learn. If I'm not honest of what I feel the question, so I cannot get my leadership style. What is the strength and the weakness that I can learn for me to to develop.
Very good. So I want to thank you also for your participation. Of course, for me it was an honor to have you here.
Me, it's my honor to have selected become one of these profiling leaders.
Wednesday I have a training. Maybe you should throw some children in from you.
Sure.
Lula already booked it half full. So for me, it's like this. I liked it a lot. For me, I'm of course a behavior coach and I teach people in the psychology of communication. So for me, this is a very related topic. Actually, I don't really believe in, for myself, in this kind of instrument before, until I met SDA. I was like, hey, it's actually a very interesting tool. I'm in this case very familiar with DISC analyzing, but for me that was always like, yeah, it's a program, and it's so general. It's like horoscope, right?
Right.
It says the same about everyone. But when SDR showed me and did my first one a few months ago, I was like, oh, this is really pretty detailed, right? It's
Right.
affected. And then I asked Mr. Max, well, what is the difference between this and normal one? Yeah, then he came back that SDR is doing this already more than 20 or 40, yeah, 40 years actually. SDR,
40.
exactly 40 years, based on data sheets,
So,
not artificial intelligence. So that gives me a different objective, because I'm a headhunter for more than 15 years, and I do
Right.
understand that if we have to act fast to make the match, if we have to be accurate in who are we actually hiring related to the role that they have to fulfill, this kind of information is crucial to make quick decisions, but also to make sure that it doesn't cost money.
Right.
I mean, hiring the wrong person, and you know everything about that, hiring the wrong person can cost you a lot of money, right?
And actually, this profiling is not only for leaders, right? It can also perform for staff, right?
You could do it for
yes, staff at all levels.
Yeah.
exactly. It's what I learned from Mr. Max is also, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Max, what they do with as they are using this assessment for the personality, but also for the job role, that what we have in mind,
Right.
what kind of a job we have to fulfill.
Right.
They can actually map the whole behavior dynamics within the company to make sure that everything becomes oiled and ongoing to improve the results of the company.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
Did I say it right?
We do what's called a job role assessment. So we'd put together maybe 5 key people who'd be working with that individual to fill out a questionnaire based on the personality traits they think that individual should have. And then we'd actually get a chart very much like the one you looked at earlier, Jono, showing the basic behaviors we'd be looking for the person to fulfill that role.
Sure.
And we could then write a job advert that would be tailored to appeal to people specifically with that type of mindset that's self-identified as having those character traits. And that would just mean that you'd need to interview less people. And it would increase the likelihood of the people that you are interviewing being a good fit for the firm. So it really does take the guesswork out of recruitment. But we could do the same thing for like team dynamics. It's not just a recruitment tool. But yeah, there's loads more we can do, and I'll discuss that with you when we meet.
Sure. Interesting.
I will make it more interesting for you, Jono, because I learned a lot from SDI last half year. We have a lot of students on Pasar that sign up, but what we usually do not know about them is how does this person learn? What's their learning style? So I know that a part of the package of SDI is that the students can make a really short assessment, and then based on that, we get insight of what kind of person learning, what kind of learning style this person has, and how do we need to educate them that they absorb the most information and make sure that they are also successful in the training.
Right.
So if I heard the learning ability indicator, if I'm correct.
Yes.
So, yes. So that's probably very interesting when students do an intake, just an LIE. After that, then we know exactly what kind of person we have here. And do we send him to Demi that talks too much and is very practical, or do we go to the other trainer in communication that is very theoretical, right?
Then you can submit the program in our platform, Demi.
Yeah, exactly. It was it's not part of the show, but Mr. Mac was talking like that. It's actually really interesting to Pasar, because that way we can be more effective for the teachers, the trainers, me, but also for the students that we apply, and then we can match the student and the trainer better, more efficiently.
Actually, this is, I think, is off the topic a bit. We recently we have a collaborations agreement MOU with London School of Public Relations.
I saw that.
Yeah. So I think it's a quite a good opportunity that we can push to the university.
Well, let's stop the marketing here. It was we can talk about that later.
Talk about that.
Yeah, we can talk
Sure,
about that
sure.
later. Thank you for your time.
Sure.
I'm gonna shut up the meeting, and I thank also
Thank you very
everybody
much.
that's still
Pak
here.
Demi, thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thank
Jono.
you, Mr.
Thanks
Max.
so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Max.
Okay.
Good luck
see
with
you.
your busy agenda, Mr. Max. So
Thank you.
I will end the session, and before I get into a fight with Lula, I will also play the sponsor video when we're done. Right? So thank you very much, and see you soon. And I asked Lula to text me your number so I can give it to Mr. Max, and then you can follow up.
Sure.
Because Mr. Max wants to have a private meeting with you because there were some nasty details he didn't want to discuss online.
Sure. More than happy to have that. More than happy to have that.
Okay, thank you very much for your time, Pak Jono.
Thank you, Pak Demi. Thank you, everybody.
Okay,
Bye.
later all.
Bingung membuat learning plan untuk perusahaan kamu? Sulit mencari training provider yang sesuai dengan anggaran kamu? Lembur terus untuk koordinasi dengan banyak training provider? Gak usah khawatir, PasarTrainer punya semua solusinya. Puluhan training provider dengan ratusan program training tersedia di PasarTrainer, baik offline maupun online. Kamu bisa memilih kategori training apapun sesuai dengan kebutuhan kamu. Tinggal daftar dan kamu sudah bisa pilih sendiri training terbaik buat kamu. Ubah cara lamamu membeli training dengan segala kemudahan di PasarTrainer. Mau tahu lebih lanjut? Kunjungi www.pasartrainer.com.